NieR is one of my favorite video games. Full stop. If I was given the chance to completely lose all memory of my time with the series, just so I could re-experience it again for the first time, NieR Automata would top that list. It's not a perfect game, mind you. Sections can be repetitive, and well, I would never say it looks bad. The game was not given a high budget. The devs had to allocate their resources, and certain assets and textures were given noticeable and questionable priority. The story ranges from predictable to batshit insane, thanks in part to this guy, ending in a crescendo that leaves one questioning all the choices they've made, and hell, even the meaning of life itself. As a video game, it takes full advantage of its medium and creates a beautiful experience. It is, in my opinion, a masterpiece. However, there is one aspect that stands out above all the rest. It's not the carefully crafted lore, the animation, or how it absolutely shatters the player's expectations by the end. It's the music. Alright, intro over. So, what are we doing? Proposal. Why not rank all the incredible songs from the game NieR Automata in a tier list? People still do those, right? Doesn't matter. I have yet to see a proper ranking of this glorious OST, so I'm doing one anyway. Let us begin. Well, that was easy. Okay, for serious now. I'm thinking 4 tiers, 9S, A2, 2B, and Commander tier. That works out pretty well. Here we go. First up, a beautiful song. Indeed. So I guess we're just starting off right near the top. Obviously this song is unique, being as it's the exact opposite of what you typically associate with the boss theme.
What the hell?
Our records don't say anything
It
about a
oozes
machine like
emotion,
this.
both pain, jealousy, and combined with that, the fact that Simone is one of the most memorable bosses in the game makes this track pretty iconic. Worthy of a 9S tier. Alien Manifestation. One of the first songs you hear. It's mostly ambient, so not super standout. I do like the instruments, and it does a solid job of setting the tone for the game. I'm not super crazy about the vocals when they do play later on. There are a ton of amazing vocal tracks in the series. I don't think this is one of them. 2B tier. Amusement Park. The song of the true happiest place on earth. And a fantastic melody.
What are those?
On one hand, it sounds upbeat, but on the other, it's somber, and reminds you that things were probably once much better. Or possibly worse. Definitely worse. Because of this song, no one forgets the first time they step into the amusement park. A2 tier. Bipolar Nightmare. This track starts off epic and just keeps escalating. It helps that it plays during 3 incredibly important sections, and likely reflects the never-ending cycle of life and death the androids find themselves trapped in. It also has the single most satisfying build-up of the entire OST, taking a full 2 minutes and 30 seconds to reach the chorus. On top of that, it's just a banger. 9S tier. Birth of a Wish. Another boss theme. Honestly, this one's pretty great as well. It matches the environment perfectly, reflects the gravity of the new threat in front of you as Adam quickly levels to match your skills. It's just all around good. A2. Blissful Death. A neat little side quest theme with a cool name that pretty much tells you everything you need to know. It's underrated, but nowhere near the best the series has to offer. I'll go with 2B. Broken Heart. A super missable side quest song. It's good. The echoey guitar and calming vocals add layers. This mission rewards the players with extra lore and depression. 2B tier. City Ruins. Rays of Light. Speaking of memorable tracks, you hear this one a lot. However, I never got tired of it. That should say all you need to know. The highest 2B tier. City Ruins Shade Variant. The same song, but slightly faster. I'm kidding. I couldn't tell you exactly why. There's obviously a distinctive difference between the two, but I like this one more. I'll put it right above the other one. Copied City. This one has a bit of everything. A fluttering piano, pounding drums, alluring vocals, and even some strings for good measure. It all joins together in a melody I could, and have, listened to for hours. Especially when trying to figure out if that whole hidden church thing was real or not. Remember that? Good times. It's also a good farming spot. 9S tier. Crumbling Lies. There is no better way to kick off Route C than with this song telling you that things are absolutely fucked, and there is nothing you can do about it. It's also a jam. Also 9S tier. I also don't know why this list has a back version, since, as far as I know, that doesn't exist. So, new plan. We're gonna add in an operator tier and put this on hold. Get it? Okay. At the end, I will assign it in place of something that I feel deserves a ranking. Dark Colossus, Kaiju. I'm torn on this one. Most of the song I can take or leave, although Brune is an absolute unit. This fight is one of the weakest in the game. However, the back half of this track, starting with the organ, I do genuinely like. It's definitely 2B tier for me. I could see people putting it higher though. Dependent Weakling. Ah, more depression. It's thematic, but both fast-paced enough to make the final fight against Eve intense and convey his despair. It does what it needs to. And I like the song. A2 tier. Emil. Despair. Ending Y. When I first played this fight, I had no idea who Emil was. I wouldn't play Replicant version 1.224744871139 for another few years. And no, I didn't look at that. Even then, this fight hit hard. When I returned afterwards with new context, it hit harder. Gonna have to go with the 9S tier. Emil, Sacrifice. Wait, was this one even in Automata? I think this is purely a Replicant song. Whatever. It's not as good as Despair, and it might play instrumentally somewhere, so we'll say A. Emil's Shop. 9S tier. Moving on. End of the- I'm just fucking kidding. Emil is the goodest boy, and he deserves the world, okay? But I hate his terrible inventory rotation and useless expensive OS chips. The song is funny the first couple times you hear it, but it gets old really fast. I'm gonna have to go with the Commander tier. End of the Unknown. Honestly, I don't love the vocals here, but the song is still kind of a bop. Pairs well with its quick little boss fight against Adam and Eve. Low 2B tier. Faltering Prayer. Not gonna lie, forgot this one even existed. Father Servo can rest in hell, but the song is pretty decent. Reminds you that depression lurks around every corner. Gonna go with the B. Same goes for the Starry Sky variant, but I like the context around this one slightly more, so we'll just put that right above the last one. Forest Kingdom. I really like the intro to this one. The rest is nice too, in small doses. After a while, I do sort of tune it out, so I'm gonna have to give it the high C tier. Fortress of Lies. Another location-based ambient track. Everything about it is just great. The quiet notes, the soothing vocals, the perfectly accurate name. A2 tier. Grandma Destruction. Another throwback to Replicant. It's a solid boss theme, and the impact only grows with context. I do think it works better in Replicant. I think it was only here for nostalgia. So I'm gonna have to go with a high 2B tier. Kaine Salvation. Oh boy. Here we go. When I first stumbled into this underground mall, it hit me right in the feels. I had zero context. I didn't know who Emil, Kaine, or this other person was. But in this beautifully crafted space, I knew something of value had been lost, but not entirely forgotten. This song, and Emmy Evans' angelic voice convey all the emotion, and both the futility and hope of existing. I have spent hours in this room because of this. So, not nasty. Whew. Moving on. Memories of Dust. Alright, I was kinda dreading this one. Not gonna lie, I don't hate it. This game has no bad songs. But it plays so often over the course of the game that it is forever tattooed on the inside of my head. If I step outside on a hot day, this is the first thing that comes to mind. It fits the desert vibe, sure, but something about the vocals just doesn't work for me. If you take those out, I'm a little more inclined to give it a listen outside the game. But I'm gonna have to go with the Commander tier. Mourning. You want some vocals I can vibe with? This one. It's basically an all-vocal track, with a couple of strings mixed in for good measure. Not one I would typically listen to, as it's kind of a mix between funeral and choir music. Doesn't make it any less good, though. It also plays at the perfect time during ending C. So, I'll say 2B tier. Pascal. The main Machine Village team. It's different than almost everything else in the OST, and another track that perfectly encapsulates its area. Again, not one of my favorites, but it's fairly catchy. Middle of the road 2B tier. peaceful sleep. The main resistance camp theme. They could not have gone with a better one. You spend a lot of time here, buying, selling, upgrading, or simply vibing to the music. It's calming, and it gives you a sense of security every time you enter the base between hectic missions. Oh god, why are they eating each other? What the 2B tier. Possessed by disease. Banger alert.
98.
The build-up here is immaculate. The lyrics, the strings, how the lights go down as the music kicks up a notch, or 5, become as gods. It's a great boss theme to go with one of 2B's best fights. It's just fantastic. 9S tier for sure. Rebirth and Hope. A super short little melody that plays after the Eve fight. Honestly, I don't really remember it. It's good. The problem is that it's over before it really begins. It's a very short song. It's kind of unfair to judge it entirely based on that, so we'll go with a low B tier. Significance. There's none. The main menu theme of Automata. It just works so well. It starts out as just a cool sounding track, but each new ending changes the menu screen and gives new context. I could stay on the title screen and listen to this for hours. 9's tier. Song of the Ancients. Atonement. Oh, damn, I've run into a bit of a problem. I don't think there's a tier good enough to hold this one. One sec. There we go. Devila and Popola are the two most underrated characters of the series, and they deserve a song as amazing as this one. Every version is just incredible. Of course, I do believe the best instance of it is also from Replicants, but even if you play Automata without that context, the song is just phenomenal. There are a great many number of NieR songs that perfectly utilize the Chaos language, and this one stands above them. Also, I'm not sure why Popola's version is here too. It might play instrumentally, but we're gonna throw that in 021 tier. Color of Depression. Super cool little track for a depressing as hell side quest. Nothing new for NieR. It's not a standout, but I do like the ominous vibe it gives off, and would absolutely put something like this in one of my games if given the chance. A2 tier. Sound of the End. Great track. Tense. Beautiful lyrics. Even though the first time I heard it, I thought she was saying so much bread crusts. Understandable mistake in my opinion. It's also the song that accompanies the Idol main menu cinematic, and I think one of the trailers, obviously. So in terms of drawing intrigue and setting the tone, it does a damn good job. S tier. The Tower. The lyrics, the sci-fi effects, and the tempo, all solid. I very much enjoyed this section of the game, and will rarely say no to giving this one a listen. A2. Treasured Times. Yet another track with somber undertones, and the most obnoxious chorus sung by a tone-deaf child that has probably ever existed. I also hate the mission associated with it. This might actually be my least favorite track of the entire game. C tier. Vague Hope, Cold Rain.
I have additional information to relate. I've sent mail with a reward. Please read it.
A crescendo
And
of
9S?
strings and emotions with
Thank
a
you.
vocal
Man,
harmony
she
that I
disconnected
will
me again.
never get
Well,
tired of.
if she's thanking me, I guess it must have gone
Despite
okay.
only hearing it once or twice my
Right?
first couple playthroughs, it stuck with me long after I had finished the game. Beautiful track.
Gratitude confirmed.
Voice of No Return. It's a really good violin track. The slow vocals fading in is a nice touch too. A solid 2B tier. War and War. War indeed. War never changes. Except when it does. A fitting tune for the androids to march into battle to. And it helps mark a major turning point for the game's story. Personally, I don't love this one, but I do recognize its purpose. So I'm gonna say lower B. Weight of the World. Could it go anywhere else? Every ending the player achieves makes this song that much more legendary. Objectively, I still like Kaine Salvation or maybe even Bipolar Nightmare more than this one, but the pure emotional weight behind this song brought millions of players together in the ultimate co-op, fourth wall shattering boss fight to quite literally change the outcome of the story. So yeah, become as gods tier. Widespread illness. The ominous tone and static is neat. Not much else to say about it. So B tier. Wretched Weaponry. It's not nearly as bombastic, or as good as the replicant version in my opinion. I really like the twist they put on this one though. It's desolate, a ghost of its former self, which was already a ghost in Replicant, so now it's just a ghost squared. In my opinion, this is the perfect theme for a twice abandoned factory level. A tier. Alright, finally, just to quickly place these leftovers in the operator tier, I have decided to go with the Azumarashi songs. So, one will be Deserving of Life, which is just a weird, fun ride. I'm gonna give that a low 2B tier. I don't love it, but it is one of those things you have to watch at least once. And their more recent addition to the series, the ending song from the NieR 1.1a anime adaptation, Antinomy, which is apparently a metal. I did not know this. I adore. Azumarashi has a lot of good songs. This is one of their better ones in my opinion. So, I will award this one a low A tier spot on my list. Yes, it's not technically in the game, but it is part of the NieR series. Deal with it. Damn. That was a lot. Okay, let me just finalize. Maybe move this over here, this over here. Alright, there. I like this. Objectively, the best NieR Automata OST ranking to date. Probably. Never doing that again, though. Unless... Nah, probably not. Anyway, I'm curious to hear all of your wrong opinions, so feel free to yell at me below. Whatever your take though, you can't deny that this game has an amazing soundtrack. literally the best in video game history in my opinion, but I get that's a stretch for some people. I don't really know how to end it, but this cannot continue, so peace and glory to mankind.